Wassail. So I'm indoors because yesterday, oh, what an energy yesterday. The wind came in off the Atlantic and I felt like I was Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. I felt like I was waiting for this house to take off. Unbelievable. And the most awful neuralgia all the way down this side of the face, swollen gums, teeth, agony. I stayed in bed. I never do that. I went to bed at 1 p.m. and I just stayed there until this morning. Weird sound in this part of the building. Today is my my dead brother Barry's birthday, and he would have been 57, and he's here around me, and so I thought we would try and ask him to provide us with some messages that hopefully won't have anything to do with astrological connections. I just would like to see what kind of messages the dead have for us, and he can act as a spirit spokesperson for them. So I'm going to begin with the bell, which we haven't done. Look, we've had Palo Santo. Let's have some more Palo Santo. So there's a couple of stories which have sprung to mind. Obviously, my 13 moon galactic calendar, as you know, I'm the self-existing white world bridger, which means I'm meant to drift in between dimensions and pull energies together. But also, I seal the store of death. And I've told everyone before of that story of me. It's going to make me laugh again. When I was about 7, I saw my first ever news flash while I was in the British Legion pub, and it was that Elvis had died, and I told everyone, and as everyone's shock came towards me, all these hundreds of people in this pub, it filled my body with this energy of joy. Anyway, so it's kind of the other stories have been my connection on, today with the frequency of death. I once found a dead body on the beach when I was walking along a very beautiful natural part of the beach, and the weirdest thing was he was very waxen, lying in the shingle, and I nearly trodden him, and I apologised before realising he was dead. But he was called Russell, which was quite a rare name at the time, so I had this feeling that death was following me around. Little did I know it was part of a frequency that I carry. And then the other story is witnessing a man burn alive once. I'm sorry, these are really awful things, but they're things I'm being told to share for some reason today. So witnessing a man being burnt alive and then creating a sound frequency to help his tortured soul move forward. So I think they just want me to talk about how we're all connected with death, because it's a guaranteed thing. I'm not saying we're all going to die. So I feel like my entire molecules have woken up in a completely different frequency today. So we're going to hopefully ask my brother about that. But let's first begin with a ding of the bell. Oof. That's so weird. I actually hit the second one hardest, and that third one split open. So, okay. So it's to do with these honeycombs of different realities. We face this singular choice, which is stay in the old frequency of fear, move into the new frequency of love. And there's a message that I got the other day, which is there's a series of, on the love frequency, the love frequency is this frequency underneath the world that is resonating pure love from the planet for us. The planet is reaching out for us. For all the abuses we've ever done to the planet still loves us, which is why I keep talking about tree meditations. So connect with the tree, connect with this frequency. I'm going out later to do a tree meditation. So connect with that energy and you settle into the right frequency. Above that is this frequency of fear. Now in this frequency of fear, we have COVID-19. We have this energy that's being used as a control mechanism in many ways over society, but that's not the important part of this. The important part is that at the lower frequency, there's like a game of tag going on, where people who are able to come together are able to create energy frequencies to allow people to have an awakening epiphany. And this epiphany of waking up, coming to, is like the sort of the virus that's going on in the lower love frequency, that's kind of like COVID-19. It's very secretive. When you have your epiphany, you will keep it very much to yourself and move through until you reach someone else that echoes that frequency and allows you to move forwards with it. So we're going to use the frequency of G to call in the realm of the dead. G is Jupiter, and it's our energy wings, the frequency that comes in and rotates like angel wings around us, and this is the energy that purifies all the other chakra energies when they go through, because it's connected to the world of spirit, angels. And also, very much I'm being told to remind us that it's also the frequency on which other beings that we call aliens are also resonating. So I'm going to use this G to clear and call that space into being. Okay, so with being in isolation and COVID, I'm not talking as much. I've said before, often the only time I talk is when I made one of these videos. I tried to do a sound healing the other day, and after half an hour, 40 minutes of singing, I was losing my voice because I'm not practicing the muscle. So at the moment, doing the sound healings they're kind of very minimal. Just have a little bit of coffee there. So, we're going to start with the cosmic reading cards to give a kind of abstract concept, perhaps. Because I don't use these often, and I think they'll help to take us in a different direction. So, Barry. Now, you know, although I'm calling in my brother, he's acting as a spokesperson for Echoes Through Time, DNA traumas and stories that are collective, because we're clearing up the whole collective at the moment. So let's see if he would like to come through to you rather than just me. It's been hassling me all night. So, I just want to say, when my brother was alive, he was quite a bully. And since he's been dead, he's been very sweet, obviously, because he's in spirit. So, Barry, what are you bringing towards us? Emotions, 12. We had this card the other day. Oh, I didn't check that, but there's a window. Look, you can almost see the sea. Emotions. So, if I bend them at that angle, you can see them. Emotions. Right, I'm going to use for this first set, I'm going to use, I was going to say this tarot deck, because I had a brain blockage on what it was called. It's the Aleister Crowley Off tarot deck. So, emotions, please explain. What are you wanting to tell us about emotions, please? What would you like to tell us about emotions, please? Okay, so we have the 3 of discs and the 7 of wands. Now, in this particular deck, this card represents source frequency. It's also the 369 of the Nikola Tesla code, the magic code that's behind everything. And this represents the 3 and the 6, and it's very interesting because 3 and 6 are the electrons that bounce in and out of different dimensions continually, but they're like a trap. Oh, okay, so they want me to set a trap. That's what you want. So I read this and then we're going to set the trap, test the code. So they're the electrons that bounce in and out of the frequencies, and they get stuck until you add the 9th element, which is the divine source, the epiphany. Okay, so that's what we're on. We're on epiphanies. So it's also interesting because 3 and 6, if you reverse it, 6 and 3 is the year of my brother's birth. So there's a real sense of him calling in that frequency for us at the moment. So we have valor. But this card talks about correction of the body. So the emotions, when you have divine epiphanies, when you get your 3, 6, 9 frequency to enact the change of your, it's like, how can I explain it? So your DNA, your inherited frequency from your parents and grandparents and all the way back has a particular frequency that's special to you, and your spirit can tune itself in to that frequency so that you are able to resonate inside your vessel. Now, sometimes we don't resonate inside our vessel properly. Okay, thank you. And this causes us to have dis-ease, illness. And the idea is that by having epiphany moments, you're able to really kind of turn the volume up on how your frequency inhabits your molecules. And this is representing the connection between your, well, it's your spine. It's representing your spine and your bones, your frame, your DNA, the structures at which your consciousness wraps itself around you. And so when you turn up the volume, you are able to then almost lock on to that, the distortions, and then kind of retune them to a new consciousness pattern, okay? So, thank you, spirit world. So, emotions are the key to. I'm being told that the fire, the spark, is the frequency of the molecules. Emotions are the frequency of consciousness from source, and it's how that locks onto your DNA that creates your frequency that you resonate in. Now we have 3 more cards before we set this tester trap. Princess of Wands. So I love this card. She's like I kind of want to say the angel of manifestation, because for a long time now, because of I don't have them with me, because of the Wild Unknown Tarot, the cheetah is the magician, and in this deck, the Queen of Wands holds down the raw masculine and the manifestation. She blocks the manifestation to exist. Whereas this princess, she's flinging the manifestation into being. She's taking the molecules and she's throwing them into a new frequency, a new divine flame. And there's a plinth with roses, and the scent of the roses is talking about the changing frequency that you create, like the new perfume, the new aroma, the new you, the new frequency at which you resonate. And then we have the priestess. It's like she's catching. She holds open the net to catch this manifestation. She will catch the manifestation to bring the manifestation into to retune it. She's retuning it. She's the esoteric download that is retuning your molecular structure, your divine blueprint, and she is there in the blue. There's a sense of nourishment, there's a sense of there's crystals here, there's pyramids, there's flowers, there's grapes, and there's a kind of pine cone come pineapple effect. But it's to do with, it's like, okay, so they're representing new gifts, new energies that can shower down to you. And then we have the Emperor, card number 4. And here I'm really being drawn to, he's the gardener, he's the pruner, he's the thing that changes molecules. So unlike the Empress, whose life and creates all life, this is the guy who prunes and pulls things back. But what I'm really being drawn to is the 2 goats or sheep behind him, these Aries figures. And it's like bringing the old frequency. Oh, okay. So the one here is being transformed. So it's like again, they're saying it's that tornado of yesterday. It's the whirlwind, the vortex, being tamed by this new manifestation frequency that's created with an epiphany. I'm also being drawn to the fact that he has a bee on his tunic, Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 Bs. It's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh wow, that's interesting. 11 Bs and a couple of fleur-de-lis down the bottom. So the 11 Bs are about bringing sweet results to the frequency of not just the planet in which you exist, but also the new DNA codes that are being brought in. So I have another sip of my drink. So I think we'll stick with these. But I think I'll use a different tarot deck. So we're going to set up the Tesla code. So first of all, we want the 3, 6 and the 9 as oracles. So can we please have 3 cards? Can we please have 3 cards? There's 1. There's 2, and now I just want the divine 9. There we go. I can't see that one. The only one I can see at the moment is the 3, because it landed face up. Now, what am I going to put? Maybe we'll have the vice versa actually, because then that's talking about switching energies. So it begins with the notion, this is a triangle as I showed you just now. I've laid out the 3, 6, 9. So I'm going to put down 1 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, you have to add them together to get 7. So then 7 and 7 is 14, which makes 5. So you get 1, 2, 4, these are all inner journey, and then 8, 7, 5, which is your outer journey, how you apply what you've learned as inner journeying to the outside world. And this is the trap, because every time you get to 5, you keep bouncing back to 1 because you're missing the epiphany. So let's see. I hope that makes sense. I did write an article where I described it, and I will try and remember to find that article and put it in the description box. So please, my lovely brother, help us to understand something. So I'm just looking for 7 and 5. Oh, this is very interesting. So I'm being told that this trap is relating to this original sense of emotions. So card number 3, the frequency that is resonating in and out of multiple dimensions, is walk your truth. It's almost like the hand. I need to do that one. The hand is reaching out and yet getting nowhere in the world, pushing against the edge of a distortion that's not your truth. So, and that's caught between strength, personal power. This is High Priestess energy. It's interesting. That's also related to the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, which I didn't bring with me and now wished I did. But I couldn't fit them all in. So, High Priestess energy, that download, that ability to allow what you send out, but we're not pushing far enough in our inner journey for this to catch us. So it begins with the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is about moving on from the past, moving on from the darkness, leaving the world behind us and heading to somewhere new. So the first part of our inner work is always heading inside ourselves to try and find some kind of personal epiphany. And that's coming with the Four of Swords, which is seeing. It's a card of healing, but in this card I always get this sense that one side of the card talks about replaying all the destructive elements in our life. And look, I didn't say earlier, but the last few days I've been really stumbling to maintain my frequency, and particularly yesterday in that whirlwind of energy when we had those very difficult energies with the Moon and Saturn and Jupiter. So we're trying to calm our thoughts so that we can walk our truth. So 1, 2, and 3. Let's do him that way round. Setting off on an inner journey, and it's interesting, 6 and 4 is 10. It's a completion and a new beginning. And then we're trying really hard to reach forwards from within inside ourselves to find and push forwards our truth. And then the next card, card 4, is the energy you reach internally before you transfer your frequency outwards. So it's the sword of truth, oddly. So walk your truth, find your truth. So it's saying we find our truth, or we keep finding our truth. We keep finding the next stage of our truth. And the other side of the card is kind of the epiphanal version. So it's like we keep finding almost the truth with the help of spirit, but we're not finding the absolute crowning truth of ourselves. So, moving forwards to where we're going outside of ourselves, remember this is in the frequency where we're trying to come into our full strength, our truthful strength. Walk your truth, which is emotional strength. I didn't want to do this energy again, but it's the energy of the luminous warrior, to be an emotional grown-up. So now we have, oh, that's interesting. This is another 6. So card 1, the beginning of the journey inwards, is matched by the beginning of the journey outwards. Now, this is like, I want to sort of say that this is leaving home almost, but I don't mean that in a kind of, because we've got a very disappointed father figure here, but that's not what I mean. The energy of this card is talking about leaving the old emotional home, this one that you couldn't push past, This one full of, oh, and that's the other thing they want me to point out, that the inner journey was all thoughts. So we're trying to fix our thoughts to get the emotions to flow better. So, leaving the home. Leaving the old distorted home and moving towards I'm getting two messages. You see, the initial message, because the reverse of this card is a reunion with past energies, but that's not how this card is being read. This is a card of soulmates, but it's also can be read because it's followed by another card, the Two of Cups, which is the same thing, which is pure love between two people, but it's also can represent the balance between masculine and feminine, your molecules and your consciousness. So it's a reunion of your molecules with your consciousness, but your consciousness, the divine feminine, is almost drowning in the emotions because of this frequency where we constantly review all of the negative things that have happened in our life. So it's reaching down and bringing us, rescuing our consciousness from the distorted emotions. So rewiring our thoughts into something more positive to move forwards into this truth rather than this half truth. And that brings about, as I said, the next stage, which is the unification. Look, here is that DNA strand. But it's like this moment of connection's a huge healing. So this is a card of healing. This too, being drawn to the star, the healing above, rewiring your DNA to bring you from this dark awakening to this bright and light motion with, this is the card of the Ace of Cups in the distance, which is showing you that there's a new dawn on your emotional language. So you're coming into your own strength. And what does that bring us? It brings us into the sunshine, which is wish fulfillment. But it's like the sun isn't properly out. There's a wall, there's still soldiers. It's like you haven't learned to properly bust out of the restrictions, the mind restrictions of this card. So you've half dealt with, and Spirit is asking us, my brother is saying to us, we need to move to this fullness of the sunshine. So what's the missing frequency that gets us from the dark to the light? Okay, it's a divine 9, and it's communication, and it's spirit. It's communing with spirit. You can't have a divine epiphany if you're not reaching out in some way, and it doesn't have to be meditation. It could be prayerfulness, it could be thoughtfulness, mindfulness, but reaching, you have to reach for messages in whatever way. You could sit down and just allow your pen to write automatically to give you messages, you know, kind of automatic journaling, but you don't get this divine epiphany to fully move you on unless you engage in a direct connection with spirit. And it could be through spirit animals. There's a wolf here. A wolf is a pack leader. So I'm going to take, where are they? There. I'm going to ask for where this takes us. When you get that epiphanal point, where does it lead us? Where do we go when we get that energy? Where does it head to? Where are we heading to? Oh! 22. Now this is interesting because 22 is personal demons, but this is the removal of your personal demons. These are your personal demons, and this is the card of Mother Earth. And that's why we're here. We're here to do a journey with the natural world. We're here to experience this wonder, this energy of being held in the love of the earth. I'm sure that came through at the beginning of the message, but I can't remember now. So, Mother Earth, let's just pull a couple more of these. Can you please explain the love of... Oh, that's a bit foldy. Can you please explain the final message, the love of the natural world for us all? The love of the natural world. Oh, it's just total Zen love. It's the Knight of Cups, but in this deck, Knights are the kings, because there's a prince and a princess. The world just loves us. The world, the planet made our molecules. The planet owns, I kind of want to say, the intellectual rights on our DNA, and it just loves us. The Mother Earth just loves us. Okay, so I'm going to push for another message. Greedy. And it's transformation. Look. Oh. So I began this message with the subject of I seal the store of death. Here it is. You know, it's a transformation and a rebirth. I'm not gonna push for more. So the message from my brother, happy birthday, Barry, is work on our emotions, fix our emotions. We've got to move forwards knowing that we can transform frequencies and bring a new healing energy to bring us into bliss. Look, bringing our divine masculine molecules and our divine feminine consciousness into the light, into the truth, with Mother Earth loving us and bringing about a kind of rebirth, a rebirth frequency as we move forwards into the new world. Okay, I'm wanting to say that they're drawing my attention, or he, Barry, is drawing my attention to 2022. I know that's a long way off. I'm not saying it's going to take you, but the message is, next year is about the energy of beginning the changes of the planet, and then 2022 is the balance. It's when we reach the balance. It's also interesting because this is when in February we get the Pluto return for the United States of America. So I don't know what that's meaning, but he's putting that in my head. I don't know why, because so often if you mention anything to do with America at the moment, it upsets people because there's such difficult frequencies there. But anyway, sorry about that. Move towards Mother Earth. Okay, That's the message. Oh, come on, I will. I'm being told to just flash through these because it feels like they want to just confirm something magical for us. So can you please... Oh, I'm holding them upside down, that's why I don't like doing that. Will you please complete this message? Will you please complete this message? Oh. Will you please complete this message? Oh no, that's too many cards. I have to do that again, sorry, that's too many. I just want like one card. Is it that bottom one? No. I feel like I'm pushing it and now they're saying you shouldn't have done that. Okay, so they're giving me the circle. This card is referring back to that point where you allow yourself to turn up the frequency, the energy. It's funny because when I was talking about it, they were putting that card in my mind and saying that's a new way to look at this. Your consciousness locks on, tunes into your DNA, the code, and then the key is to turn and change and transform and unlock your DNA. That's the purpose of the message I'm being given. The earth will help you, but you have to work with your emotions. Okay, now I'm going to stop. Thank you very much. I'm going to look at the bottom deck. Taming of the Wind. Oh, yes, that's why. 55. It moves us towards the higher frequency. And that's what I was struggling with all day yesterday. And that's, he's just wanted me to say at the very end, look, I sit here with great connection to spirit. I get downloads of information to help everyone understand things in new ways. And it's very easy to imagine somehow that my journey is all sweet and easy and works out perfectly, but it doesn't. So they just want to remind you that for the last few days, I've stumbled, I've fallen over, and I've lost my hold on the love frequency, but you can return it. You can retame the wind every time that vortex energy spins in and tries to change you. Lock onto your molecules. And okay, thank you. So I suffered with this neuralgia yesterday, but what that allowed me to do was to focus on the pain that's in the physical body as it tries to tune in to this frequency. So I was going to go and visit someone yesterday, and this morning we were going to go shopping, go to the market, and I had to refuse to go because I just needed to sit and tame the wind that was raging all around me as I tried to retune my consciousness to match my molecules and begin a new DNA healing of my frequency to bring me into a new dimensional reality. Okay, so there we go. Thank you very much. And if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Wassail.